Hey guys, Prime here. Welcome to a new video series that I'm starting today called Prime Time. I'd like to send a shout out to Samurai for giving me the inspiration for the name. I'm going to be doing a series of map reviews for UGC Highlander maps, competitive maps. Going to be covering the terminology and some of the strategies as well as locations for the maps, to maybe help new competition players become a little bit more familiar with the competition maps that we use. So today I'm going to be starting off on CP Process Final. This is one of the more widely used and better well-known maps that UGC uses. So some of the terminology that I cover may be familiar to you if you've played a couple seasons in UGC or any of the other competition leagues. But without further ado, let's hop right in and let's talk about some terminology. I'm going to start out here on blue. I'm a blue scout, so we're going to start out here on blue's last point or first point, depending on which way you want to put. We'll cover some terminology here. This particular door right here is called shutter. Just about every map has one of these. This happens to be the only one on this map in this particular area, so that's what you call that. You call that shutter, and that is this area here. So if the enemy team is pushing through this location, or the enemy sniper or your sniper wants to peek this door, you know where they're going to be. This is called upper. Pretty self-explanatory why it's called upper. This particular area leading to your battlements is called rollout. And this leads up through here and out onto your battlements, which overlook the second control point. Come down through here and we have lobby. You have upper lobby and lower lobby. There's two ways to get out of lobby if you're going to be pushing into second point, and that's through lower or through upper, which leads to upper leads to battlements and lower leads to the ground down here on second control point. This is the second point or second. Pretty self-explanatory. Lots of wide open sniper sightlines here, so you want to try to keep your important classes like your medic and your combo classes like your demo and your heavy out of the sniper sightlines if at all possible, because the enemy sniper can peek and do a lot of damage to your team from that choke point right there, and also from that area over there, which we're going to cover in just a minute. Now there's really three ways that you can leave second point, and we'll cover all of those now. This particular area here is called IT, which leads out to mid. Okay. It's called IT because it's got the computer banks in it. Okay. And this leads out to mid. You have a medium health pack right here. I don't know why all my... Oh, right. It's the 15th anniversary or something like that, or some 5th anniversary of UGC or something. I don't know, but everything's cake right now. Party cake, and there was a little ball at spawn. So there we have that. Okay, that's IT. You can also come out of the choke point here, which you can call either choke or main. I like to call it choke. You can then attack the control point from two directions. You can come over to the left by blue crates, or you can go over to the right by red crates. And you just call that out left or right. Or you can call out by health pack. If something is over here standing by this health pack on the enemy team, you can say they're at health pack. The other way to get out of second point is to go through this area here, which is called sewer. I'm not really sure why they call it sewer. I guess because it's got a bunch of barrels in it and things like that. But this is called sewer, and this shutter door that leads from sewer onto the main point gives really good access for your team without exposing them to the sniper sight lines, with the exception of if their sniper standing in their IT. And of course this map is mirrored, so everything that I'm covering for the blue side of the map will also apply to the red side of the map, but in the opposite direction. So pretty self-explanatory. That's some of the terminology that you need. As you're holding second point, there's some terminology that you might need to know. You could say on point, which would mean on the control point itself. You could say battlements, which is all of that area up here that I'm overlooking right now. Okay, those are battlements there. Okay. And then you also have lower or under control point. Okay. And then you want to make sure that you're calling out wherever the enemy is located. Might be a good idea to have somebody standing around this area here so they can kind of rotate between watching IT and watching the choke. A good person to put there is your heavy, because he can really take care of anyone that might try to jump in through choke, and he can also pressure anyone that tries to peek through this doorway in IT. But that's up to you. This particular location here is called pipe. You just need to jump on it once and you can run up it. Actually, I think they changed it now, so you don't have to jump. You can just run right up it. You used to have to crouch jump to get up here, and it could be a little bit difficult to get into position to push the control point or defend the control point, because you had to either come from IT and stand here, or you had to crouch jump and try to get up here, and it could get a little awkward, especially for slower classes like heavy and soldier, if they're trying to just walk into the control point without jumping. But now they fixed that, so you can actually just walk right up into here and gives you access to the control point, their battlements, and also their IT. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about strategy. Of course, when you're playing Process, it plays a lot like all of the other 5 CP maps. So when you're particularly, happy birthday, boink. Happy 15th birthday, apparently. So there you go. Team Fortress is 15 years old. When you're pushing mid, you want to make sure that your team gets there first. Of course, your jump classes, like your demo and your soldier, are going to be really important, and your scout are going to be really important to get to mid first. So as a medic, and a lot of these map reviews will be focused specifically on what a medic can do to help his team as they're fighting this map, because I main medic in UGC. So for me, I'm going to be speaking from the point of view of a medic. So for a medic, from this point of view, the first person that you want to make sure that you heal as you're rolling out to mid is going to be your demo. You want to make sure you heal him as long as you possibly can to try to give him an advantage going into the midpoint, or at least put him on equal ground with their demo, so that he can get there quickly and efficiently without having to stop for health packs along the way. The more health he has going to mid, the more effective he can be at pushing the enemy team out. Okay, so that's really important. The next person you want to heal as you're coming out of the gate is going to be your scout. And again, for the same reason that you want to heal your demo. As your scout's coming out and rolling out to mid, whichever direction that your team decides to send him, you want to make sure that he has an advantage when he comes pushing the control point. And the best way to do that is to overheal him as long as you can until he's out of your range. And then after that, you want to try to get a buff or an overheal on your soldier and your sniper, so that your soldier, again, one of your jump classes, your more mobile classes in Highlander, he can get to the midpoint with either full health or close to full health, so that he can stay and fight the control point as you're trying to take control of mid more quickly. And then, of course, you want to overheal your sniper to give him an advantage against fighting the enemy sniper and fighting the enemy team in case they decide they need to bomb your sniper or attack your sniper and focus him. And then you want to heal your heavy. It's really important as you're pushing into mid that your team knows exactly where they're going to be and where you're going to go as quickly as possible. The reason for that is you don't want to be hanging out by this rock too much, because you're very exposed to enemy fire here. If your soldier has not done a good job of getting on top and commanding the top of the point, or if he gets killed by their sniper, you're very susceptible to spam damage from both the demo and the soldier. The scout can then, once they have control of the high ground here, their scout can then come and attack you. So, oh, I messed that jump up. Messed it up again. Their scout can then come and attack you. So it's really important that you control this high ground as quickly as possible when you're pushing mid. You want to have your demo man try to lock off the point. And there's 2 ways that he can do that, and it's really going to depend upon what your team decides you want to do. There's 2 ways that I really enjoy pushing midpoint. The first way is to push your combo to the right here over by these red crates. And you can even come through sewer, although it does give you a few more second delay getting to mid but it does protect you more from the sniper sightlines if you come through sewer from second. If you just run your combo up through here and have them push out through sewer. Now that's going to take some coordination on your team's part so that you can meet up with your demo in a location where you can heal him. But if your demo's kind of playing here and helping to control the midpoint while your soldier and your scout take control of the upper, your flank classes take control of the upper of the point, your demo can play here and lock out their team while your medic is here healing him and not really exposed to any sniper sightlines. And then you can place your heavy in this location here to prevent anyone from bombing in from behind. And also he can peek these crates and do some splash damage and some chip damage to the enemy team as well. That's one good way to push midpoint. But it does take a little bit of coordination so that you hook up with your demo as soon as you get to the midpoint. Another way to push is to come through the choke point and walk over to the right. You can do that or through the sewer. And the same hold will apply. The only difference here is that you're exposing yourself more to the sniper if he decides to stand over by their rock. This is big rock. That's little rock. I forgot to cover that during the terminology. Kind of important to know. If their sniper is standing over by the big rock, one of the big strong sniper sightlines on this is either standing by this big rock or standing in your IT, because he has really good access to both their IT and also the left side of the control point. So it's important to know where their sniper is and to call him out as quickly as possible. And then rotate your combo out of his sightlines. The other way you can push this is to come through choke and push to the left with your combo. And that's going to require pressuring the enemy team out to make sure that they don't come from this direction and fight you directly. Another thing you want to make sure that you do is that you get your medic and your combo classes out of the sniper sightline here and through sewer and IT as quickly as possible. You do not want those pick classes being able to come up behind you, or come up behind you to get a shot on your combo if you can help it. So those are things to watch out for as you're pushing to mid. Taking control of mid, taking this high ground, like I said, is super important. If you can get your flank classes to control this high ground, it's really very effective in controlling their combo and preventing them from pushing and attacking the control point effectively. And it also does an excellent job of pressuring their sniper out of that choke point or off of that big rock here, because he's forced to back out or try to make a shot on a jumping soldier, which a lot of the good snipers in gold and above can really do, and a lot of the good snipers in the league can do. So having control of that high ground is important. So let's say that your team you've successfully captured midpoint, you've successfully pushed the enemy team out, but you haven't done a very good job of killing many of them. So now you're in a situation where they've decided that because they've lost a couple flank classes or they've lost one or two combo classes, they're going to back their team out of mid and they're going to allow you to take control of the midpoint. From this point, you really have three ways that you can attack second control point, and I'll cover those now. The first way would be to push through their sewer, and this gives you access to the control point, but you're a long way away from it. And because you're a long way away from it, and because from either direction that you push, you're going to be in some giant pick class sightlines, you want to really try to avoid pushing through sewer unless you're sure that you have a large Uber advantage and you know exactly where they're holding and what you can do to get to them. Sewer is more of a flank class location. You can send your sniper and your soldier and your scout through sewer and really put the pincers on them. And I'll cover that when I talk about pushing through IT. Another location that you can push from would be to push through their IT. This is a good push if you're not spotted early. If they don't have anyone watching this particular location when you decide to push in. If, let's say, your scout runs through here and he says there's nothing in IT, that would be a good time to push your combo through, because it gives you direct access to the control point. And if their combo is holding on the control point, it's going to give you direct access to their combo. Now, if their medic is smart, he's going to be holding back here behind this, where he's out of most of the sniper sightlines. It's going to be very hard for your pick classes to get to him because he's going to be constantly checking behind him, so it's going to be difficult for the spy to get to him. And it's going to be difficult for your sniper to get to him. And then because the heavy will be playing kind of in this location or somewhere near here, or maybe on that pipe, it's going to be difficult for your soldier to get a bomb on him because he's going to be fairly well protected. So pushing this way through IT is going to give your team the best opportunity, if they're holding the control point, to attack them. Now, if they're holding a little more passive and they're holding in their lobby and they're not really covering the control point, the best way to push is going to be to come through the choke point, as long as you're sure that the sniper is not anywhere where he can shoot your team. You just come into the control point, you can walk right up pipe here, and you can, again, push in. Basically what you want is, when you're attacking a control point, you want to get to the control point that you're attacking as quickly as possible. You don't want to be spending time dilly-dallying and fighting their combo and running the risk of starting to bleed players and dropping players to the enemy team, forcing you to back out and possibly even losing that fight and then losing the next point behind it, which would be midpoint. So you want to make sure that you're picking fights that you can win. Get your pick classes and your flank classes to get some picks on their combo or get some picks on their flank. And when they're weak on the flank, then you can pincer them in. So you can send your flank classes through sewer or IT and push your combo through the main. And you kind of pincer them in and force them to decide who they want to fight. And since they're a couple players down, they're going to more than likely decide they're going to back out to their last. So you have successfully captured second control point, and now you're pushing into last. There's 3 ways, again, that you can push in. You can either push in through shutter, which is a viable option as long as their demo is not sticky trapping this door, or their sniper is not looking directly down this sightline, which a lot of snipers like to do. This can be viable, especially if they put up a level 3 sentry for defense, and you allow them time to do so. Let's say you burn your Uber, and you don't kill enough of them capturing second, and now you have some time where you're off Uber cycle. Well, if you allow them time to set up a level 3 sentry gun, there's going to be 1 or 2 locations it's going to more than likely be, and that's going to be over here in this general area here watching the control point, or it's going to be over here watching the control point. Either way, that level 3 is going to be something that you're going to need to deal with as you push last. So if you're allowing them time to set up that level 3, and the level 3 is on the left of the control point, you want to really try to push in through shutter if you can. Use your Uber through there to take out the control point, or to take out the sentry gun, I should say, and then push your flank in through the opposite direction that your combo's coming, which in this case would be lobby. And you can push them in and attack the control point here. Another way to push the control point would be through rollout, which means walking your combo up into their battlements, making sure that, of course, you're not being outflanked here through your lobby, and just walking in at them through this rollout. This makes it for a good split push if you want to push, let's say, your demo and your pyro through here and send your heavy with your flank classes on the other side, or any combination of classes. It makes a really good split push because now you're forcing them to decide who they want to fight. And as long as you're well coordinated with your attack, what's going to happen is they're going to have to decide instead of being able to focus down the unubered players. The trick to this push is to get in quickly and to push them back into their spawn and get your unubered players onto the point as quickly as possible. And of course, if anyone has any comments about that or thinks that I'm incorrect, please feel free to tell me, because I'm always open to criticism. Alright, another way to push this is to come through lobby, and you have 2 ways to push through lobby. You can either walk out your main doors here and push the control point this way, or you can rotate around and push through the long here, which actually gives you the most advantageous position for pushing the control point. While it does seem the longer way around, it does take you out of the sniper sight lines for a little bit of time if the sniper is holding on the left there. Whereas if you're pushing in here, you're basically forced to pop as you come through the door. Pop your Uber, that is, as you come through the door, because you know that sniper, if he's alive, is going to be paying very, very close attention to all of these doors. So that's an important class that needs to die when you're pushing last. The sniper and the pyro are 2 very important classes that you really need to try to focus on getting your pick classes to kill before you push this control point. Of course, getting a pick on any of the combo classes would be vitally important. Killing the medic, killing the demo, killing the heavy. That could cause you to want to push this control point as well. But killing the pyro and the sniper is really going to open up for your team to be able to start peeking in and doing splash damage and chip damage onto their team uncontested, really. And so those are really the only ways to push last. And of course, as usual with control point maps, what your goal should be to force their uber pop if they have one, or to kill them and immediately get people on the control point that are not ubered so they can begin the capping process. Because if you all just run up here while you're ubered, you're not really gaining anything, and then they're just going to wait in their spawn until your uber fades and then come out and kill you prior to you being able to cap the control point. Or they'll stand on it with you and fight you while they're ubered. And then no one is really gaining any ground. And the more players you lose as you come in, the more likely it is that they're going to push out and be able to retake their second control point. So that's pretty much CP process in a nutshell, guys. Let me know what you think of the video. Let me know if you think there's anything you'd like me to add, maybe a second commentator, bring someone else in from a higher division like Platinum to help me go over some of these points. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the video comment section below. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you very much. Take care, and I'll see you when I see you.